Hello everyone, welcome to Admission Lab. I'm Professor Fang. Admission Lab helps you or your child to get into Ivy League schools. So today we will introduce you a very efficient time management developed by a very renowned Soviet scientist. So there was a renowned Soviet entomologist, philosopher, and historian of mathematics named Alexander Lubishev. When he passed away, many people attended his funeral. Some are entomologists, some are philosophers, and some are scholars of the history of mathematics. Each group have a different impression of him. Some believed that he was a great biologist, others saw him as a philosopher, and still others saw him as a mathematician. But when they met each other, at the time when information did not circle as fast as today, they were astonished to discover the full scope of Lubishev's accomplishment. Over the course of his life, Lubishev published more than 70 academic books, wrote more than 10,000 pages of notes and manuscripts, and made a significant contribution in the field, ranging from studying insects to the philosophy. For example, during his leisure time, he casually worked on a classification of flea beetles and ended up cataloging over 13,000 individual specimens. That's how he relaxed. Okay, you might assume that he was a workaholic or simply a nerd, but in reality, he was far from one-dimensional. He was deeply passionate about theater, painting, literature, and each year he attended dozens of exhibitions, performances, and cultural events. For example, in a single year, on average, he might log over 60 cultural events, like plays, exhibitions, or films. So how did he do this? It's based on the time management technique we will introduce today. So the technique is called event time log. Very simple. Before I dive into the three-step detail of how to use this event time log, let's compare to some traditional technique, right? The most common technique is something called a to-do list, writing out the tasks for the day and trying to follow through, but often this list becomes nothing more than a wishful thinking. You can call it a wish list, right? At the end of the day, you find yourself completing far less than expected. The result is frustration and disappointment. Something better is called event log. That's you don't plan for the future, you have a rough idea of what you should accomplish, and you record what exactly happened. For example, you can say, I wrote a 5,000-word essay, I had a lunch with John, I read 2 chapters in a book. That's event log. So this kind of logging creates a concrete map of your action. Unlike a to-do list, which often doesn't survive reality, an event log tells you exactly how your time was spent, in which categories, right? But Lubishev took it one step further. He developed something called event time log. So instead of just writing what you did, you could also record how much time on each activity. In his manuscripts, he recorded something like Plant Protection Committee meeting, 2 hours and 25 minutes, wrote a letter to George, 10 minutes, things like that. Very simple. What you did, how long you did it. Notice that he did not bother to write the timestamp like from 8 to 11:25. He only noted the duration, how long the task took. And that makes it simple so that he can do this for 56 years. Event time log, how exactly you use this system? There are 3 steps. Step 1, record your time. Each day, he would record the activity he accomplished and how long each one took. No need exact timestamp again, you just need to record your day. For example, wrote a paper abstract, 1 hour, 10 minutes. Meeting with John, 40 minutes. Read a philosophy book, 2 hours. Things like that. Very simple. Even you just do step 1, one magic will happen, which is over the years you will develop a very accurate sense of time. For example, Lubitsch, he didn't even need a watch to estimate how long something had taken. Time for him was no longer vague or slippery, it was tangible and manageable. Step 2, categorize and analyze. Lubitsch didn't just leave the data sitting there, he would review and analyze it regularly. First, he divided all his time into 2 main categories, working and resting. For example, some of you or your child wants to go to Ivy League school, you can say, okay, learning and leisure, right? And then he subdivided work time into 2 types, type A tasks and type B tasks. Type A tasks are directly contributing to your core goals. Type B tasks are supportive but not directly contributing to your core goals. Take you or your child, for example, if your goal is to get into a top university, then improving your GPA is one of the core goals, right? Reviewing mistakes, making mock exam are type A tasks, right? Meanwhile, for example, organizing your notes or managing your schedule is a type B task. Because the type A tasks can directly improve your GPA, but your GPA will not directly improve simply because you're managing your schedule very well. So the type B tasks are supportive. With this system, Lubitsch could quickly see where his energy was going and optimize his focus. Step 3, project the future. So with that data in hand, you could make an accurate prediction, unlike a lot of people who do the wish list as to-do list, right? So for example, he knew writing a research paper takes him about 40 hours. Then writing a paper is not something like, oh, maybe 1 or 2 months, things like that. So he exactly know that if he work 5 hours a day, 4 days a week, he will spend the research paper exactly in 2 weeks. Likewise, he knew exactly how long it took to catalog a Beetle specimen, so he can correctly plan his time to casually work on 13,000 Beetle's specimens, right? That itself is a great accomplishment. Okay, Lubitsch's time counting wasn't just a complicated system, it's kind of lifestyle. So there are daily records, structured review, and realistic planning. So this can help him to achieve so many. So I'm hoping that by keep doing this, we will all achieve a lot more in the future years. If you like this content, please subscribe and give a thumb up and leave a comment below to let me know what you think. I'm Professor Fang. See you next time.